U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken is on another crisis tour of the Middle East in a bid to secure a new truce between Israel and Hamas. This is his fifth trip to the region since the war broke out in October. And Mr. Blinken is expected to visit Saudi Arabia, Israel, Egypt and Qatar. He's stressed the need for urgently addressing the humanitarian situation in Gaza as aid groups repeatedly sound the alarm over the crisis. And Mr. Blinken's tour comes as the US and Britain struck more than 30 Houthi sites in Yemen over the weekend. It's the second wave of assaults meant to further disable the Iran-backed militant group. Meanwhile, Israel's military operations in Gaza's south have intensified over the weekend, with fighting reported in areas like Khan Yunis and Rafah. The Palestine Red Crescent Society released this footage, reportedly showing victims of an Israeli attack on a residential apartment building being transported to Al-Aqsa Hospital. Gazan health officials say that 18 Palestinians were killed in Israeli airstrikes in Deir al-Balah and Rafah on Saturday. For more, Sarah Coates joins us. She's live for us from Tel Aviv. Sarah, it's yet another trip by the US Secretary of State here. Mr. Blinken's latest trip to the Middle East. It's his fifth one since this war began. How is this visit, though, any different from his previous tours?
Hello there, Dawn. Well, look, you said it there, a crisis tour. That is what this trip is really being looked at. And you just need to look at the situation right across the Middle East since Blinken was here last time, and it has really deteriorated. We do know right now that he is currently in Saudi Arabia. He's there for talks. He'll be reportedly pushing for this US plan for a Palestinian state after the war, saying that this is the only way to guarantee Israel's security, saying that this would further isolate Iran and its proxies, giving Israel that security and really bringing down the tempo in the Middle East. But look, according to the White House, his main goal here is to get humanitarian aid, more aid into the Gaza Strip. But of course, in order to do this, there will need to be a pause in fighting. So this will certainly be discussed with regional leaders also here in Israel. And this is something that Israel has been standing pretty firm against. The Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu saying that there will be no pullback of troops from the Gaza Strip. But that is something that the Secretary of State will certainly be pushing for there. He's also, of course, as I mentioned, trying to bring tensions down in the region that have got to do with these Iranian-based proxies. We're seeing increased attacks on merchant vessels travelling through the Red Sea shipping channel there. Of course, there are these continued tit-for-tat strikes with Hezbollah and Israel across that northern border there with Lebanon. And look, the situation in the West Bank remains extremely volatile. The IDF raiding a number of places, a number of cities in the West Bank overnight. So look, this is certainly coming at a crucial time for Blinken to be visiting.
It is a crucial time, Sarah, but in the absence of a pause in fighting right now, what's the latest on the ground in Gaza?
Look, Dawn, the IDF has just released an operational update. It says its forces have killed dozens of terrorists in the north and the central parts of the strips in the last day. And look, we do know that heavy fighting is continuing in that southern city of Khan Yunis, also west of Khan Yunis. And according to the Palestinian Red Crescent, it's just put a statement out on X saying that Israeli troops have detained the director of Al-Amal Hospital, also the administrative director, taking them to an unknown location. So this is certainly very worrying, given so many displaced people are sheltering inside that hospital. And look, there's also a lot of concern, of course, over the southern city of Rafah, which was declared as a safe zone by the military a matter of months ago. We are hearing now that the IDF is planning to move down into Rafah in potentially a week or so's time. And we did hear from an Israeli military personnel spokesperson, if you may, yesterday saying that there is coordination happening with Egypt to move these displaced people, more than 1.4 million people from that Rafah area, further up back into the north of Gaza if and when this raid on Rafah does take place, Dawn.
Sarah, thank you for that update. Sarah Coates there in Tel Aviv.